heart that believes in change, for a heart that believes in this society, that we can develop and be all that we want to be. Want to thank you, dear God, for everyone that has come on board. Want to thank you for the government of this country, the Prime Minister. Want to thank the Digicel group. Want to thank the Amber group. Want to thank the Artrust NTA. Want to thank each and every one that has given an input, each and every one that has come on board. And all through this program, we invite your presence in everything that we do as we grow from strength to strength. Lord, we want you to be there with us through every journey, through every success. Lord, this nation depends on you. We depend on your will. We depend on your way. We depend on your divine presence always in our life. Lord, it is a great and good thing that sponsorship companies can come on board to partner for the goodness, for the development of the youth of this country. Lord, we ask that everything that we do today will be done well. We pray that all the proceedings will go well. We pray that the program, dear God, will go well, and they will be a place that we can say, yes, this day we started and we can reap all the great reward. We ask for your blessing on this country one more time. We ask for your blessing on the people. We ask for the blessing on the youth in particular. We ask for your blessing in every area of our life. We say, God bless this country. God bless everyone that has seen it fit to put together this program today. We ask for your many blessings one more time. God bless Jamaica. God bless this nation. We give you thanks. We give you praise. Amen. Thanks be to God.
Thank you, Mark. We'd like to welcome all our guests, students, parents, teachers, and our partners viewing online. This program is being streamed live on the Ministry of Education's social media platforms, MOE Jamaica on YouTube and Facebook, and we're also streaming on Zoom. This afternoon, we're joined by the Minister of Education, Youth and Information, the Honorable Favour Williams, MP, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, Mrs. Maureen Dwyer, Chief Education Officer in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Kassan Troop, Founder and CEO of the Amber Group, Mr. Deshant Savadia, who's joining us virtually, Managing Director of the Amber Group, Mr. Michael McNaughton, CEO of Digicel Jamaica, Mr. Jabor Kayumov, Acting Director of Strategic Partnerships, Research and Innovation of the Heart NSCA Trust, Mrs. K. Marie Forbes Robotham, members of the Executive Management Team of the Ministry of Education, principals, teachers, students, other stakeholders from the public and private sectors, and of course, our friends from the media. A pleasant afternoon to you all. My name is Patrick Goodall, the Public Relations and Communications Manager for the Amber Group, and I am pleased to be your moderator for the program. At this time, I'd like to welcome Mrs. Maureen Dwyer, acting in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, to give the official welcome. Mrs. Dwyer.
Just a moment, she took everything from me. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to welcome you all to this very important and exciting program being launched today by the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. Today's launch of the Coding in Schools program comes, we pause to welcome our Prime Minister.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Prime Minister.
Today's launch of the Coding in Schools program comes after its successful piloting earlier this year in a number of schools. We are happy for this opportunity to collaborate with Amber Innovations in this project, which will expand the information communication technology courses which some of our students are already doing, and expose them to a wider scope of computers and computer programming. Let me therefore acknowledge our special guests and participants, beginning with our Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, who we are delighted is able to join us, given his very busy schedule. We also acknowledge the Honorable Fable Williams, our Minister of Education, and all our online listeners, viewers, or the members of the media, members of the supporting agencies, Amber, Digicel Jamaica. We welcome you to this occasion. So, in the interest of time, I'll hand you over to our moderator. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Mrs. Dwyer. I'd like to bring to the podium a very special partner. Now, a show of hands, how many persons in this room used 3 or more applications on their smartphone on a daily basis? Have you ever thought what the developer was thinking, what went into making that application? Now, I'm going to share with you a little fact I would have learned recently. Did you know that the youngest application developer is only 12 years old? In a few years, I'm certain that Jamaica may, or better yet, will break that record. Wouldn't that be something? Ladies and gentlemen, the Chief Executive Officer of Digicel Jamaica, Mr. Jabor Kayumov, will now bring greetings. Immediately following him will be K. Marie Forbes Robotham, the Acting Director, Strategic Partnerships, Research and Innovation of the Heart NSTA Trust.
Thank you. Thank you, Master of Ceremony Patrick. Thank you very much. I will start with the greetings and Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, Honorable Fable Williams, Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Mr. Michael McNaughton, Managing Director, Amber Group, Ms. Maureen Dwyer, Acting Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education, Youth and Information, principals, teachers, students, all those who are watching us online, very pleasant good afternoon. I've been in Jamaica long enough to understand the term time come. And that's exactly how I feel about this very promising launch of the Coding in Schools program powered by Digicel. Indeed, the time has come for our young people to not only be end users of new technologies such as artificial intelligence, virtual reality, apps, algorithms, and robots. They can actually use these technologies, change the world in ways we could never have imagined. As Jamaica's digital operator, this program is very important to us because we understand the life-changing benefits that can come when we leverage advanced digital training to shape the future and the fortunes of our country and our people. Our ambition to drive digital adoption through education and skills training makes the Coding in Schools program one of the passion projects under our year-long 20th anniversary celebration that started in April. This alliance solidifies the commitment we made in April to establish a digital incubator program that would function as a birthplace of local innovation. The team at Amber had a shared vision in this regard. To that end, we found them to be an ideal partner that had the skills and capabilities to bring our vision to life. The result is a win-win for our collective ambition and the young coders who will stand to benefit tremendously from it. This, in part, is what our Made in Jamaica mantra means to us, using the homegrown talent to empower the next generation of innovations. We consider it is a public duty for us to keep evolving our network and to use our vast technical expertise to expand knowledge, empower people, and make a solid contribution towards building a truly digital, connected society. Indeed, this has been our quest since we started the communication journey with our customers in 2001. And though tested by the pandemic, our philanthropic arm, the Digicel Foundation, stepped up to support digital education and online learning by providing tablets, internet access to thousands of children who were affected by restrictions on in-school classes. To further support online learning, Digicel continues to focus on expanding access to our high-speed mobile and fiber networks. That would also prove pivotal to the delivery of the course materials, resource sites, and online tutoring that will take place under the Coding in Schools program. These expansions are part of our $200 million or 30 billion Jamaican dollars investment dubbed Digital Jamaica. It is a huge commitment to building Jamaica as a digital hub with a massive spend on networks and state-of-the-art broadcast facilities that lead to countless opportunities for economic empowerment of Jamaicans due to the direct correlation between access to broadband internet and economic growth. To date, Digicel invested over $1 billion and over 150 billion Jamaican dollars in Jamaica since 2001. As presenting sponsor for the Coding in Schools program, Digicel has signed onto a 3-year commitment towards paid internships for 20 graduates of the program each year. This learning support and job placement model will enable participants to cultivate tomorrow's breakthroughs, unleash their bold ideas, and reap the compelling benefits. Coincidentally, this 3-year agreement mirrors the tenure of our landmark Memorandum of Understanding, Heart and STA Trust, signed in July. That partnership fosters mutual training, industry knowledge exchange, and internship opportunities for trainers and employers of both entities. Ladies and gentlemen, indeed, time come. Also means that the moment is now for Jamaica to determine its own digital future through investments in digital education and training of the highest standard, real opportunities for digital job growth, continued investments in internet infrastructure, and unwavering government facilitation to make it all happen. We wish every success to our young coders as they embark upon this exciting digital journey. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'd like to now invite Mr. Michael McNaughton Managing Director of the Amber Group, who will bring remarks. As a part of his speech, I am told is that Mr. Savadia, the CEO of Amber, will be bringing greetings from Siberia in Russia, where he's working remotely. Mr. Manhattan.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Good afternoon, everyone. Prime Minister of Jamaica, Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Minister of Education, Youth and Information, the Honorable Favour Williams, Permanent Secretary acting in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, Mrs. Maureen Dwyer, Chief Education Officer acting in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Cassan Troop, Founder and Chief Executive Officer, my boss, Mr. Dushyant Savadia, who will be joining virtually, Mr. Jabor Kayumov, the Chief Executive Officer of Digicel Jamaica. Acting Director Strategic Partnerships, Research and Innovation in the Heart Trust NSTA, Mrs. K. Marie Forbes Robotham, my own Mark Johnson, who led us in prayer, principals, teachers, students, and other executive stakeholders, members of the media, and listeners and viewers from across the world joining from the various social media. Again, good afternoon. The Amber Group is proud to partner with the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information on the Coding in Schools program that will empower the next generation of leaders by changing how they think, learn, and grow. We at Amber have spent a year, over a year incidentally, developing this intensive coding curriculum in consultation with the Ministry of Education and other international subject matter experts, aimed solely at enhancing the knowledge base of our students. Earlier this year, Amber ran a 3-month pilot program for 2,000 students across 20 schools in conjunction with the Ministry of Education. That pilot, which was sponsored by NCB Foundation, gave us the confidence that our children are ready to embark on a journey to become producers of technology rather than just being passive consumers. More than 85% of the students who participated found the pilot program to be highly informative and helpful in building their coding knowledge. The students enjoyed working on basic concepts of coding, which tickled their creativity and helped them to develop their own games and other solutions. The launch of the Amber Ministry of Education, Youth and Information Coding in Schools program is timely to the technology revolution happening globally. Learning to code will not only provide our students with a new skill, but it will allow them to learn critical thinking, problem solving, and to develop their own internal confidence. This is somewhat different from the languages of Fortran and COBOL, yes, you heard right, that I only got exposed to at the university. I'm sure a lot of persons listening, they don't even know what Fortran and COBOL is, right? The implementation of this program will see over 400,000 students across the island gaining in-demand coding skills at every level, from grades 1 through 13. Students in grade 10 through 13 will be engaged in 2-hour sessions per week with our master coders, learning computer languages like C Python, HTML, big data concepts, etc. Additionally, they will have access to interactive e-learning applications and platforms provided by Amber to practice their new skills. Upon completion of grade 11 and grade 13, students will receive, through the Heart Trust NSTA, NC-TVET certificates. Students who choose computer software development as their profession will then can fast-track their knowledge through access to the Amber Heart Academy. To maintain continuity and sustainability of the program, approximately 15,000 teachers from grade 1 through grade 9 will undergo a 3-week intensive train-the-trainer program to incorporate coding into their regular curriculum taught by educators from Amber. Since the program is new, students and teachers alike will also have the ability to receive further assistance through our help desk channels, and which will be available from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to offer further support and guidance as needed. One of the key drivers of this initiative is our founder and CEO, Dushyant Savadia, who is currently traveling, but notwithstanding, he would not miss this opportunity to share his passion for this initiative. One thing I will say about Dushyant, he has demonstrated not only a passion for technology, but more importantly, a passion for giving back. Speaking virtually from Siberia, I turn you over to Dushyant.
Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, ONPC MP, Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Honorable Favor Williams, members of various participating organizations, media and friends. Good afternoon, everyone, and winter greetings from Novosibirsk, Siberia. Just in case if you're wondering, this is not a virtual background. It is as real as what we are embarking on today. Education is society's greatest leveler, empowering the weakest, bringing peace to the world, and eliminating poverty. It is often seen as the only lit path in the pursuit of happiness. The globalization of technology has brought people together, made commerce possible across borders, and brought innovations in every profession. People say the world is changing. I believe it has already changed, and we need to step out of our comfort zone and become literate in the language of technology. It is said that coding is the new literacy, and we all have seen that toddlers today have an almost innate ability to adapt to new technologies with how they navigate software-driven products such as smartphones, tablets, and gaming consoles seems like second nature. In this regard, the earlier we teach our students to understand and write software programming languages, which we often refer to as coding, the better it is for them to apply these skills for the future. The Amber MOEY Coding in Schools program is one of Amber's greatest feats and our proudest initiative that will empower generations to remain relevant in the advancement of global technology, innovation, and adaptation. Echoing the words of Steve Jobs, everybody should learn how to program because it teaches how to think. Regardless of the profession they choose as they leave high school, such as medicine, engineering, or hospitality, the skills they would have learned with coding will enhance the ability to innovate and develop better solutions in their professions. The function of education is also to teach one to think critically, where intelligence comes with character. It is also time that we came together to identify new ways and means of restoring the respect, honor, and dignity that education brings in oneself. A good education also signifies friendliness, compassion, and where one is capable of selfless action for the society. A complete education is one which empowers an individual to play the role of a good citizen in making the local community stronger and the world a safer and happier place to live for all. To this extent, we are also proud to announce a partnership with the Art of Living Foundation, which will provide life skills such as stress management, conflict resolution, and tools to manage negative emotions and deepen the practices of human values in our daily lives as youths. We started with a very humble beginning as Amber, and we continue to bring innovative technologies with the sole mission of serving the society and giving back. We could not have imagined a better way to contribute to Jamaica than to lead one of the most impactful programs in history coming out of a private-public partnership with the Ministry of Education, such as Coding in Schools program. Not very often we find leaders who not only share a forward-thinking vision, but also have what it takes to see it through to reality. I would like to thank the government of Jamaica and its leadership, the Amber Group team, the Art of Living Foundation, and I also want to say a very special thanks to the Group Chairman of Digicel, Mr. Dennis O'Brien, and CEO of Digicel Jamaica, Mr. Jabor Kayumov, for sharing this beautiful gift of education with our youths through their co-sponsorship and support to this program. Thank you all for your tremendous support and well wishes as we forge forward a new Jamaica. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dushyant. Continue to enjoy the wonderful weather in Siberia. I want to take this opportunity to formally announce through the Amber platform that Digicel Jamaica has committed their support as a co-sponsor to the rollout of this program. Together, our teams will oversee the implementation, governance, and success of this monumental initiative, fully sponsored by Amber Group and Digicel. Our mission at Amber Group is simple: to do good in the world through technology. And we thank the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. We thank Heart NSTA Trust. We thank the Art of Living Foundation. We thank Digicel Jamaica. We thank NCB Foundation. And we thank all our stakeholders for supporting us to live our mission at Amber. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. McNaughton and Mr. Savadia. 400,000 students. This investment will benefit not just them, but 15,000 teachers who will be a part of the Train the Trainer program, ensuring its sustainability. It now gives me great pleasure to invite the Minister of Education, Youth and Information, the Honorable Favour Williams, to the podium to bring her remarks. Minister Williams.
Thank you so much, Madam Moderator. Let me acknowledge the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica. Let me acknowledge as well Honorable Robert Nestor Morgan, our Minister of State at the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. Mrs. Maureen Dwyer, Permanent Secretary Acting. Dr. Kassan Chu, our Chief Education Officer Acting. Mr. Dushyant Savadia, Founder and Chief Executive Officer, the Amber Group, and through whose efforts and persistence we're here today. Mr. Michael McNaughton, Managing Director of the Amber Group. Mr. Jabor Kayumov, Chief Executive Officer, Digicel Jamaica, and of course, Mr. Elon Parkinson, Communications Manager. Let me say thank you so much for your commitment to employ 20 graduates each year for 3 years. This demonstrates vision. Let me acknowledge as well Mrs. K. Marie Forbes Robotham, Acting Director, Strategic Partnerships, Research and Innovation at the Heart NSTA Trust. Mr. Mark Johnson, Finance Manager, Amber Group Limited. All our principals or teachers or students or stakeholders, members of the media, good afternoon. I am delighted to be with you here this afternoon and in collaboration with the Amber Innovations Group to launch the Coding in Schools program. The pilot program, which was launched in May of this year, as you heard, was among 2,000 students in grades 4 and 9 in 20 schools. And after an assessment by the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information's Planning and Development Division on its effectiveness and follow-up periodic discussions with stakeholders, we're now at the point where we can expand it to more schools across the island. And I just want to pause to thank NCB Foundation for their sponsorship of this pilot. You were an early believer in this program. The objective of the program is to develop skills such as logical and critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration, teamwork, mathematics, and to instill confidence in students through coding. To support this, a coding Math/Computer Applications class will be incorporated in the regular school curriculum. As you know, rapid technological advances are changing the way we live, work, and play. And as such, we have a responsibility to prepare our students for our increasingly interconnected and tech-driven world. We're seeking to build on existing efforts to help them to be agile and ready for contemporary and emerging jobs, regardless of their backgrounds and starting points in life. To help our students adapt to these changes, we must skills and values taught remain current and relevant. To this end, the Memorandum of Understanding between the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information and the Amber Group is an important step in achieving that goal. The Ministry's National Standards Curriculum, which was implemented fully in 2018, is predicated on STEM as the foundation, as the fundamental base. The objectives emphasize experiential methodologies and the exploration of the 4 C's: critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication, which are aimed at improving students' multiple intelligences and interests in an enabling and supportive environment and enforcing the value of discovery learning. Therefore, with the evolving changes in education and the needs of students, it is still important to build on existing efforts to help them to be agile and ready for contemporary and emerging jobs, again, regardless of their starting point in life. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information is therefore collaborating with Amber Innovations Limited to promote and develop the teaching and learning of coding in public schools across Jamaica. So let me thank you for being here this afternoon. Again, let me thank the Amber Group, the Digicel Group, and the NCB Foundation for all your efforts, and we look forward to an exciting implementation phase. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. I now invite you to turn to the screen to watch a short video presentation of our students who were engaged in the pilot program earlier this year.
Fascinated about them, and I've always wondered how the games that I play work. And in that program, I learned how to create one myself. So in this game, we will be doing Star Wars, multiplying stormtroopers. And here are the stormtroopers, and whenever you knock into them, you lose points. And they multiply. And I can find a way to change it, so whenever I hit into them, I get more points. So now when I get a stormtrooper, I get more points.
I enjoyed the coding program a lot because I have always been interested in computers for a very long time. And I've always wondered how the apps that I use on a daily basis works. And since I've been in the coding program, I've developed a better understanding. During the coding program, we designed an app, my app, is a color changing game and also has a study feature. So when we began to design the app, the first things that we did was to change the background color of the main screen. I made my background color gray. After that, we inserted a button, which we named button 1. After that, we learned that each line of code has a different purpose. For example, this line of code here at the top controls button 1. And whenever you click button 1, it takes you to the color changing game. In the color changing game, you have a drop box where you can select any color you want, or 3 colors, orange, blue, or purple. After you choose the color that you want from the drop box, you press the button down here that says click me and change the background to that specific color. I also wrote a line of code that made this back button, so you can go back, and if you wish, you can do the study app where you can type text into the box.
Wow. Emily and Jadane, our future master coders and developers. Aren't they something? Today is a very special day because it represents the realization of a dream come to fruition. A dream that will shape the future of our country, a dream shared by our Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Andrew Holness, who I am now going to ask to come to the podium to deliver his keynote address. Mr. Prime Minister.
Yes, all protocols have to be observed. Thank you, Patrick, Minister Williams, Minister Morgan, our new acting permanent secretary, Mrs. Maureen Dwyer, our Chief Education Officer, Kassan Troop, our Deputy Managing Director of HEART, Kenisha Campbell, from cold Siberia. Michael, did you banish him to Siberia?
Not quite.
Dushyant Savadia, the Chief Executive Officer of the Amber Group, and someone who, though was not born in Jamaica, is more Jamaican than most in terms of his commitment and love of the country and his contribution. Also acknowledging Mr. Jabor Kayumov, Chief Executive Officer of Digicel, Mr. McNaughton, as I had acknowledged earlier. Let me also acknowledge all our partners in education who are here virtually or physically here with us, and wish everyone a good afternoon. The COVID-19 pandemic has very clearly highlighted that to strengthen our resilience as a country, we need to reconfigure our economy and indeed the way in which we do business. Even before the COVID-19 pandemic, technological adoption was transforming tasks, jobs, and skills. The pandemic has only accelerated this trend. Some experts have said that the acceleration could be as much as by up to 5 years. So the idea is that the pandemic would have forced us to advance to 5 years in the future in the adoption of technology. And we can see that. Before, the technology always existed to have meetings virtually. But now, we are having these meetings as a matter of routine In fact, the cabinet took a decision that during the pandemic, all our cabinet meetings would be virtually. And I know there are some ministers who secretly want us to go back to meeting virtually. But of course, we still integrate the technology. We don't, in fact, whilst we have our physical meetings, in order to maintain physical distance and the number requirements, we have some meeting face-to-face and others joining online. So the technology now is very much integrated in how we're doing business. And I don't see us going back to how things were before. Although it is predicted that a number of jobs will be displaced as a result of technology and automation, there will be huge new opportunities created by digital economy jobs. The World Economic Forum, in its most recent The Future of Jobs report, estimates that by 2025, 85 million jobs may be displaced. 85 million jobs. But there is good news. And the good news is that they have also reported that 97 million new roles may emerge that are more adapted to the new division of labor among humans, machines, and algorithms. The algorithm part is what we are paying attention to now, the coding. As a country, we must accelerate our investment in the markets and jobs of tomorrow to get our fair share of these new digital economy jobs. We need to diversify our industrial and productive base. For far too long, we have been dependent on the traditional industries that obviously have sustained us for years. Tourism, bauxite, services. But now we need to expand that. We need, obviously, we will be a part of the 85 million jobs lost. But we need to be more a part of the 97 million new roles that are going to be created. So we shouldn't fear this new digital world. We should embrace it because we have a competitive advantage in this new digital world. And obviously, it comes from our creativity as a people and our very young human resources, which have the potential to be trained up in this new economy. We must bring new ideas and technologies to expand and increase efficiency of our traditional industries, and we must also invest in new industries. In order to remain relevant and to compete in the 21st century global economy, we must have a fundamental transformation of ourselves. And that means our education system has to be transformed to focus on the STEM disciplines: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Now, I know someone out there is going to be saying, what of the arts? They are fundamental and core to our creativity. So let's put in the arts, and it now becomes STEAM. So we can use our creativity in music, in entertainment, in culture, and use that in technology as well. So it is not exclusive. The transformation that we're seeking is one that includes everyone and our innate skills. More and more aspects of our everyday lives are becoming automated. As this happens, the supply gap for persons with technological skills will continue to grow. It is estimated that as many as 10 million jobs will go unfulfilled over the next decade because workers simply do not have the necessary technical skills, particularly in coding. And we see that in Jamaica every day. Jamaica is trying to move towards a digital society. And we have challenges every day in just trying to be efficient in how we bring services to the population. And especially during the pandemic, where services were not always able to be physically delivered, we had to rely on virtual platforms. We needed, for example, to develop a digital platform for the delivery of the care programs. During the pandemic, it would not have been physically feasible to go around to everyone who needed the benefit and register them or ask them to come to an office to be registered. Indeed, many persons were repulsed by seeing persons standing in line to receive their path checks or at the tax office. It takes coders to design the business process to deliver the service, to write the language, as we say, the algorithms, to instruct the machines to carry out the process. And that takes a special skill, a skill that is not widely available here. But we're developing that skill. And the more of that skill that we develop, it's the quicker we will be able to move to a digital society. So many of the services that we are now queuing up for, or we have to go physically present to receive, we will be able to virtualize them. And we are therefore making the investment in having human resources to transform our society digitally. But more than that, we want to create that as an asset, because the more of those skills we have, the more of the 97 million new jobs we will be able to claim. And we won't only be able to serve Jamaica, we can serve the world. Because the truth is, digital jobs really have no physical domicile. You would note that the founder of the Amber Group, Mr. Savadia, is in Siberia. I don't think he's there on vacation. I don't think so. And he's still doing work here in Jamaica. And indeed, many of the employees of Amber, who are mostly coders, they are not just coding here for Jamaican enterprises, they're coding for all over the world. So we could develop a major export industry by investing in these necessary coding skills. So many Jamaicans have to be brought into the power of technology, and we want Jamaicans not to be fearful of technology, not to see technology as something that other people create, but we want Jamaicans to feel themselves as tech savvy and embracing of technology and owning technology, and then obviously to mature to the point where we have the confidence to believe that we can create technology as well. So we need to make the mental shift from merely being users of technology to become developers and creators of technology. The truth is that many of us see the phone and the computer, we see them as some as toys and some as appliances, and we look at the consumption value, but we rarely see them as tools of production and creation. And that is the mental shift that we want, and we believe that by bringing in our kids early into coding, it will demystify the technology, and they won't just see it as a form of ostentatious consumption, that they want the best brand phone because it shows their ability to afford it. But we want them to see the phone as something that they could deconstruct and, who knows, maybe create it differently. That's the idea behind what we're doing here with introducing coding into schools. It may seem like an audacious vision for a small island like Jamaica, but we have a track record of global impact which outweighs our physical size. We are known for our speed on the track, and our music and culture are globally known. We are outsized relative to our size. Now, we must become known for being innovators and creators in science and technology. Every year, when I have to give a national presentation at our Independence and Emancipation Day celebration, and we reflect on what we have achieved, we spend a lot of time obviously acknowledging our achievements in sports, in the arts, but it is very rare that our culture celebrates our achievements in science and technology. It is very rare that we celebrate our achievements in mathematics. It doesn't feature as a point of celebration as how we would celebrate the achievement of a poet or an author or an actor or a good storyteller. We need to celebrate good mathematicians and good coders and good biotechnologists, because they must be seen as a part of our culture as well. So that's what we're trying to do in achieving that social transformation around technology. And it is not so bold, it's not so audacious. We find ourselves doing bold things like participating in the Winter Olympics for a tropical country. We need to take that kind of bold, audacious Jamaicanness and apply that to science and technology. And we need to stop telling our children, sending the subliminal messages that they don't have to pay attention to maths and that we're not good at it, so don't worry about it. We're as good as anyone else. And while what I'm about to say, some people might say, well, that's a far stretch. But Google, Apple, and Zoom could have been created in Jamaica. The fact that it wasn't created in Jamaica is because there wasn't the ecosystem. And what we're trying to do is to create that ecosystem, and the basis of the ecosystem is the education system that will not set limits on what children can learn and how they will learn, but an education system that will empower children and teach according to how children learn and support their exploration and innovation, and not limit it to what teachers can do, but expand what children can do. So putting in coding in the system, as you can imagine, is going to be a challenge. It is obviously going to be a challenge. But we're setting the goal. We are good in entertainment. We're good in culture. So obviously that's using our God-given advantage, because technology requires content. Information technology requires content. The head of Digicel is here, and he's nodding his head because he understands that when you are selling data, if there is nothing to use that data, it won't move. It's not data you're selling. You're selling, you know, the picture. You're selling the video, the song. That's what you're selling, not data. But you don't create those. So you literally depend on the arts and culture of the society. That's what Facebook depends on. That's what Instagram, TikTok, all of them depend on that. And we have that advantage. We can create content. But we don't want to just create the content and then deploy it on somebody else's platform. We want to be able to create the content and develop the platform. And that is why we're investing in developing this coding capability in our country. So Jamaica can become the Silicon Valley of the Caribbean. There's nothing stopping us other than our own perspective of ourselves. That's the only limit, really. So digital literacy is critical to achieving this vision and is increasingly being viewed as an essential component of modern Jamaica. Several countries globally have integrated coding into their K-12 education curriculum. India, obviously, has led the way in that, and it has now become almost a cultural thing where Indian parents want to ensure that their children leaving school are doing well in the language of instructing machines. That's basically what it is. At the start of 2021, we launched the Amber Heart Coding Academy, which was intended to serve as a pilot program for delivering practical training in coding skills. With the success of the Amber Heart Academy, we have decided to significantly scale up and launch the Coding in Schools program in conjunction with our flagship partner, the Amber Group. The natural question some may ask is, why must all students learn coding in schools? Of course, not everyone taught coding will become a coder or have a career in information technology. We live in an increasingly digital world where computer programs underlie everything from business, marketing, aviation, science, and medicine, to name a few disciplines. Being introduced to coding gives students an appreciation of what can be built with technology. Now you have an app for everything. You have an app for everything. If you need to organize your closet, you can download an app. If you need to get a taxi, you can download an app. If you need to order food, you can download an app. You can virtualize everything and use machines to deliver the service and the results. So we need to have a society that understands how this is done. If we don't have it, then we are always going to be consumers of other people's innovation. We are surrounded by devices controlled by computers. Knowledge of coding enables an understanding of how they work and facilitates the imagination of new devices and applications. Coding in the classroom is a means of bridging the digital divide. That means more than granting technological access. It is a way for all students to use technology for creative engagement. In addition to providing technical skills, coding enhances skills such as reasoning and logic. Now, I depart from my script a little bit. One of the challenges we face as a society is a high level of violence. And that high level of violence, one of the root cause of that is that our children from birth and in their household are not allowed to reason, and they are not reasoned with. They are instructed, they are told to be quiet, and they are usually exposed to violence to get them to act in a very early age. And in the classroom, it is still very instructional. It's directed learning, and there is very little opportunity to question. Otherwise, that might be seen as indiscipline. In coding, yes, you have to learn the rules of the language, but you're also going to be judged on your creativity. How do you use that language to create? And therefore, that requires a heavy dose of reasoning out problems. In other words, you need to understand what the problem that you're trying to solve is, and you can't go and beat it up. You can't slap it around. You have to think about it. And so you're developing the skill of thinking about the problem. So this may be an abstract problem, but you could also apply this skill of thinking out to real world problems, such as someone stepping on your toe in a crowded place. Why did that happen? Was it deliberate? Or was it an accident? How do I respond to it? So coding will help this. Clearly, I'm not proposing that this is a solution, but it's a part of it. It's a part of it because you can't teach coding in the conventional way. And logic. So many of our actions are illogical because we are not maximizing. We're not taking time to analyze and be pro-social and pro-growth and maximizing outcome. We hold on to many things that are irrelevant to the times and are, really backward and in the past. And we need to change that perspective as to how we think. And coding is a forward-looking kind of engagement. You're using it to solve current and future problems, and you have to foresee the problems that are going to come when you are in coding. You're not coding to solve something that is in the past. It's something that's going to come, and therefore it changes the mindset and the outlook of people who are involved. They have to be logical, and they have to be maximizing, or optimizing if you prefer. And that will create a better kind of Jamaican who can look at the problems, reason it, and take logical steps rather than listen to rumors and be misled by false prophets and people who have no clue about what they're saying, but they come and spout all kinds of things, and then you end up not taking the vaccine, end up getting sick, and probably will be in the hospital, and hopefully you won't die, but it is likely. Logical people, however, will analyze the facts, do proper search, contextualize, and make the right decision. This is not about vaccines, but I'm applying the issues to see why the society is the way it is and why we end up making some decisions and why we can't always leave it up to the parents to give the best direction to the children. The state has to be involved with an education system that will open the minds of the next generation in order for us to grow. So parents, please sign the consent form for your children to be vaccinated. If you don't want to do it, at least give your children a chance so that they can go back to school. So, coding in the classroom is a means of bridging the digital divide. That means more granting of technological support to our children, helping them to problem solve, helping them to think rationally. And these abilities, when developed at an early stage, will enable students to be more productive in the workforce and in their future career. Students who develop a mastery of coding have a natural ability and drive to construct, hypothesize, explore, experiment, evaluate, and draw reasonable conclusions. Jamaica already has the building blocks to become the Silicon Valley of the region, such as proximity to the largest market in the world. We have creative, imaginative, and a young population. And we now need to turn this into an asset. We need the builders, the coders. They are the builders of the digital society. So I'm very happy to see that Digicel has partnered with Amber, and they are co-sponsoring and supporting this groundbreaking initiative. And you can see why. Amber needs coders and Digicel needs content development. The two together makes good sense. Through the Coding in Schools program, coding will be taught from grade 1 to grade 13 across all public schools, and youth will acquire basic numeracy, language, and problem-solving skills, which are the prerequisites for coding. Too many of our children are leaving schools without these basic functional skills. The lack of trained teachers is the biggest obstacle, obviously, to getting computer science into the classroom, and software developers have little motivation to shift from the private sector into education. Through the trainer component of this program, the Amber Group will provide their master coders, not only to getting coding education to the students, but also to educate their teachers in code literacy, to make them technically proficient at teaching coding. The program aims to educate more than 15,000 teachers at the primary and secondary level. So this is the critical component, Minister, of the program. You first have to train the trainers. And I'll be paying close attention to this, and I encourage our teachers to embrace this. It is a part of our transitioning into the fourth industrial revolution. Your jobs will be transformed in this way, and I urge you to take advantage of this opportunity in expanding your skill base. It will take a concerted effort on the part of all stakeholders to make the Coding in Schools program a true success. On behalf of the government, I must express my heartfelt gratitude to Dushyant, Savadia, and the Amber Group for their tremendous support and commitment to Jamaica. The Amber Group has been a critical partner in a number of areas. I will never forget, in the midst of the pandemic, Dushyant called up to say, hey, I want to help, I can help. And I remember standing at this very spot, different configuration obviously, explaining to the country that a plane had landed and we weren't able to trace the persons who came off the plane who were in close contact with someone who was tested positive. Because just the nature of how the immigration and everything worked. We just didn't have the need for that before. And now we developed in short order the Jam COVID platform. And that assisted, and that was the cornerstone actually of our controlled entry program, which kept us safe, which many other countries have adopted or have taken the program and used it. They also developed the ENGE program to allow for delivery during the curfew program. They developed the vaccination appointment system, and now, most recently, the events authorization and ticketing system that allowed the staging of the Reggae Boys match earlier this week with spectators at the office. So the Amber Group has been an incredible partner for Jamaica, using local skills to find the solutions to these problems. Special thanks also to the Heart Trust NSTA, the Art of Living Jamaica Foundation, Digicel Jamaica, and the youth who have taken advantage of this opportunity. While we are here to talk about coding, I want to take this opportunity to make a broader point about our educational system. In addition to the logical thinking and problem-solving skills imparted through coding, another area we need a special focus on is the development of socio-emotional intelligence, competence, and skills, as I had said earlier. We will not overcome our epidemic of crime and violence and achieve our full potential individually and collectively unless we are also able to develop in our youth pro-social and rational attitudes and the ability to control our emotions in social transactions to resolve conflicts without violence. In closing, I want to speak directly to you, our youth. You are our future, and you hold the keys to the society's success. We are depending on you, on your generation, to lead the way forward for Jamaica. This can only happen when the youth come together to think it out, to innovate it out, and to focus on rebuilding Jamaica. We want to inspire you and give you the opportunities that you need to pursue lucrative career paths, provide for yourselves and your communities, and in turn, help Jamaica to build forward stronger together. I thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister. We have now come to the point in our program where history will be made. I now invite the Minister of Education, Youth and Information, the Prime Minister, and Mr. Michael McNaughton, who will sign the official Memorandum of Understanding, which will signal the rollout of the program. While we get ready, I would like to acknowledge Mrs. K. Marie Forbes Robotham, who, due to some technical challenges earlier, we were unable to broadcast her remarks. We sincerely apologize, but I would like to acknowledge the contribution of the Heart NSTA Trust, who were instrumental in helping to develop the curriculum in conjunction with the ministry, and who will certify all our students. So all our students in grades 11 and 13 will receive NC-TVET certification. Now, isn't that something? Very historic moment that will be felt by generations to come, ladies and gentlemen. Our students, just as they're taught Spanish or French, will now learn the language of technology, the language of instructing machines, right in schools as a part of our national curriculum. This is a very, very proud moment. also like to say a happy International Men's Day to all our gentlemen in the room and those tuning in online. Six months ago, many of us here in this room would have witnessed the signing of the MOU for the pilot of this groundbreaking initiative. Now, 6 months later, we are rolling out the program in every single school across the island. We are almost at the end of our program, but before you leave us, I would like to invite Dr. Kassan Troop, our Chief Executive Officer acting in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, to give the official vote of thanks. She'll be doing so virtually.
Thank you so much, moderator. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Most Honorable Andrew Michael Holness, our Prime Minister. We are so pleased to have you as our guest speaker this afternoon. Our Minister, the Honorable Favour Williams, our Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, acting Mrs. Maureen Dwyer. We have some special persons who were with us or have been with us from our partnering entity, Digicel. We have Hart, who is online with us, Mr. McNaughton from the Amber Group, Dushant, all the way there over there in Siberia. Ladies and gentlemen in the audience and on the platform, our students and teachers who have seen commenting in the virtual space, good afternoon to you. It is indeed my pleasure to move the vote of thanks to all the persons who made today a special and successful function. We have been inspired towards innovation for a better Jamaica. That's the theme of the celebration today. And I just want to move quickly through the program to highlight those persons who have made it special. Our moderator, your eloquence, your comfort with how you carried us through the program was refreshing and inspiring. Thank you so much for taking us through our program. I want to acknowledge Mr. Mark Johnson, who invoked the presence of the Lord in our function. Thank you, sir. We know for sure that our Lord has been with us, given the success we have had today with this launch. Our acting permanent secretary, Mrs. Dwyer, thank you so much for bringing the welcome. And because of you, the tone was set and we enjoyed it thoroughly. Thank you for that. Our partners, Mr. Jabbar Kayumu from the Digicel Jamaica, the Executive Director. Thank you for the time that you have spent with us today and for you endorsing this initiative. Your collaboration with the Amber Group will see our students having access to internship. We are so grateful for what you continue to do in this country and your thrust to make Jamaica a digital hub. We are grateful for your presence. Heartfelt thanks. I know Kayan didn't get to speak, but we heard from the moderator that the Heart Trust has been instrumental in this partnership and the full rollout of coding in school. We have been a part of the conversation with you to develop the curriculum and to ensure that our students at grade 11 and grade 13 will exit our system certified with level 1 and 2 in our coding program. Thank you so much, Kayan Forbes Robotham, for representing your organization. I saw you online and I know you have been here. And as the moderator said, we regret not having you because of the technical difficulties. Mr. McNaughton, oh my God, thank you for providing the overview of what we have been through in developing this program for our school. Thank you for the time that you have sat with us behind the scenes in making sure that the logistical issues were attended to. We are so grateful for what is to come for our boys and girls. We're looking forward for the implementation of the full training program of our 15,000 teachers. And of course, to pulling on the AMBER expertise for our grades 10 to 13 students, where we'll be pulling on your special team to make sure that the coding skills will be developed in our students. Let me thank also Mr. Dushan Savadia, all the way over there from Siberia. You brought some chills into our room, both the virtual room with your white background and the physical room. But we felt your warmth when you emphasized the importance of education and of course the importance of moving into digital literacy and embracing digital literacy for the transformation. We are more touched even by your mantra of using technology to do good in the world. Thank you so much for choosing Jamaica, and thank you for partnering with the Ministry of Education. Our Minister, the Honorable Favour Williams, what would we do without you? I remember the day you came back to the ministry and you said, Dr. Troop, we have to get coding in our schools. And I was like, Minister, are you serious? And you said, yes, we need to do an MOU. We need to get a pilot going, and we need this. Jamaica needs this. To be honest with you, Minister, I was a little bit timid, but you inspired me and we got it done. Thank you for never giving up on us. Thank you for always pushing us beyond what seems to us sometimes to be impossible. Today, we can boast about the success of the pilot, and now we are ready for the full rollout in our schools because you believed, because you pushed. Thank you so much, Minister, for always driving for the inspirational leadership. The function was remarkable because of your presence and your contribution. Our Prime Minister, what would we do without you? I remember the day as well when we had the original launch of the partnership with HeartTrust, and you spoke about the innovation that is to come for Jamaica. And I know you are also behind the push for moving it beyond just a partnership with Heart, NSTA Trust, but more so within our schools, because education is at your heart. You have never left us. You have always been with us. You have always been driving this sector. Thank you for the push you have said to bring Jamaica into the power of the technology and the importance of moving from just being users, but creators of technology. Prime Minister, thank you for believing this country. And we promise that the education system will be agile, flexible, and robust in delivering this transformation that is required for us to maximize on the 97 million emerging jobs that are coming in the future. We are grateful for what you have done and your presence here today in charging us to be ready for the new demands of the 21st century. Those who have worked behind the scenes, the logistics, the enormous collaboration, the School Improvement Services branch team, the communication team, the OPM team, the hospitality that you have provided. Thank you so much. We could not have done it without you. And of course, those persons who are in the room representing their organization and those who are on the platform, heartfelt thank you for your presence today. It could not have been done without you, and you have made it special. God bless you all and have a great rest of the day. Thank you. Thank you.
Right, the Prime Minister, the Minister, Mr. Matt Norton, to the front of the stage to take some photos for the media and to do the symbolic handover of the MOU. We have come to the end of our program. It was a pleasure to be your moderator for this event. Good afternoon.